Baki Rahen chapter 11 is here and we are going to read it. The battle is just beginning. This chapter seems to be from a different translator. Anyways, the chapter starts off with Hanada and Kosho walking out. Following up from chapter 10's where Kosho said, "Let's go." And Hanada's like, "Okay." And they just started walking out now. I remember a comment that said that like Hanada and Kosho, they got inspiration from a different manga Itagaki was working on, Garuden, that Kosho is basically Himokawa and Hanada looks a lot like Tanba, just two other characters from Garuden. It's a very good story though, you should read it. Good look out there, you'll need it. That Jack's a beast. He doesn't even care about anything people say. Kosho still looks on, foot stepping outward. Well, I don't care about anything Jack says. I'll win because I'm better, even if we use similar martial arts. That's nearly crazy to think that Kosho is this confident throughout like everything. He's still so confident, and me personally, I think that he's gonna keep that confidence even if he loses. He's gonna obviously lose. It's Jack's arc, but he's still be like incredibly confident. Just even walking out here, his arms look so veiny, popping out. It's just strength, so much strength. And Hanada here is looking quite like a little bit worried, I would say maybe, or he's just that's just his regular expression. But to me, Kosho has never looked this confident. He's never acted this confident. He's really like gotten so much stronger over the years, over the time frame since we first saw him. The glow up and the progression, like I really see it now. It's a lot, but he's a lot more aggressive than me. He'll do anything to win, like a bear. They finally walk out into the underground arena. Kosho and Hanada. Kosho looking out, looking forward, glistening in the light of the arena itself. I can't believe it. The art style looks so good. Though I do like Kosho with his hair not tied up, like Kosho with his like free hair, like messy hair Kosho. Please bring that back, Itagaki. But when he ties up his ponytail, it's not bad looking, but I just prefer the other one. I prefer it without the ponytail. Here comes Shinogi. The crowd goes mild. He claims to be a traditionalist, but we all know he's as modern as Jack secretly. I'm not gonna lie to you, these translations for this chapter are a bit weird because it's by someone else, but I do love how Kosho looks here. It's like, oh, and the muscle detail, the clothes, the lines, everything here looks clean. It's always clean, always. The slow, almost boring movements of his hands. Accuracy you can only get from modern strengthening. Kosho raises his right leg up, all the way up, to perform this stretch. Wow, really showing off. Whoa, look at that stretch. You can't stretch things like that from traditional methods alone. He too has entered the modern world. Katsumi's looking on, Doppo's looking on, Shibukawa's looking on. Man, future combatants of Jack Hanma. What do we have here? Look, it's Jack, the king of modern training. And the crowd goes wild. Like the crowd goes way louder than they did for Kosho. It's obvious. It makes sense. Jack is just way more popular. Oh, but panels like this are always so beautiful. The two finally face off. Modern martial arts versus modern martial arts. Jack and Kosho standing in the same arena. And Jack doesn't even turn his head to look at Shinogi. He knows Shinogi is not even worth his time. Damn, did you really have to point that out though? Positions, Baki. No, Baki's trying to go undercover here. We know it's you, Baki. Take that hat off. And Hanada and Tokugawa sitting down, ready to spectate the fight. Oh, Jack is looking down on him now, shaming the fraud. How is he a fraud though? That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, why is he calling him a fraud? Shinogi is like nowhere near fraudulent, but the height is definitely. He could have pointed out the height difference. That's something that's very noticeable. 244 inches, 77 inches. Jack is like double his weight as well, more than twice his weight. I mean, Jack places his hands on his knees or his legs and bends down to Kosho. Whoa. Jack is, could he be? Face to face. He's bowing, but his head still is taller. Is this a declaration of victory? A show of superiority? Alright, you know the rules. I don't need to tell the two of you. Ready? Just like that, we're ready to go. Wow. It's finally happening. After chapters of build-up, it's finally happening. Jack takes off his shirt. Kosho jumps in preparation, you know, as a warm-up, to warm himself up. This is just like the other panel that I was talking about that looked beautiful, but this time we're seeing Jack, so I always love it. And with the sound of the drum, the match starts. The crowd is anticipating, and Kosho, what? He's running? He's running to Jack? Jack hasn't even turned around yet. Kosho jumps, leaps towards Jack. Jack didn't even know he would do that. Neither did I. I didn't even know Kosho would have it in him to start the fight first, like to do something. I didn't know he would be the first person to do something. I thought he would be like waiting to counter. But I love this scene right here. These panels. I mean, I love it because you see each limb, hand, feet, legs, arm, hand, arm, leg, feet. Yeah, you see all these. It's just, and the shining effect. These little shining, glistening things. It's to point out that like Kosho's weapons, his hands and his feet are super sharp. You can replace it for blades or knives and they're the same thing. They do the same thing. It's awesome. It's so good. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Just pelting Jack with attacks. Jack just defends it. Slashing and slashing and slashing. Blood is just out. This panel is great. This whole panel is great. This page, I mean, not panel. This page is great, man. Just Kosho onslaughting his attack on Jack while in the air. Just multitude of attacks. It's so good. Blood splattering everywhere. And the look of Jack is like he's not really their attacks are not really like getting to him. They're not really stunning him or staggering him. He's sort of like tanking all of it, but it's still like he's still bleeding from it. Jack is cut all over. Harassment technique. Cyber Jack harassed. It'll take more than that to beat Cyber Jack. His underground arena name is the Biting Cyborg. So this translation is, yeah, it's not what we're used to, but it's good to, you know, to have the chapter translated anyway. I'm glad to have like talked about this chapter anyway. I mean, this chapter is not terrible because the translation is not terrible, but besides the translation, it's so good. The fight's finally started and there's no break next week, so we're gonna get another chapter very, very soon. I'm ready for more amazements. The strong is the beautiful.